Hello, Julie. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Kevin. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, yes. The pleasure is all mine. And before we started recording, you mentioned you're based in Washington. What area of Washington or what city?
Yes, pretty close to Seattle. I'm actually in Redmond, close to Microsoft, is where I physically am. Yeah, very close
Oh,
to Seattle. Mhm.
got you. The mothership of Microsoft. That's where they're headquartered, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to talk with you today, Julie, because geez, your background, 25 years of farm fresh ingredients and unique menu creations. And now you're in the cannabis space, obviously working with cannabis oils and infusions and different things. And so yeah, let's just first start with your culinary background. Like what made you become so passionate? 25 years is a lot. Like where did this all come from, and what led you to where you're at today?
Yeah, so I started when I was 25 years. No, I'm kidding. I always loved to cook. I always loved playing in the kitchen. I've been very much an artist. So, although I went through school, I went to college, I was an English major. I always loved to play with food. When I was little, I was with my grandma in the kitchen all the time. She definitely had a secret love language with food. And I was very drawn to it, very captivated by it, and got the bug pretty early for it. Especially to be able to, I think, translate flavors, right? It's such a gift, it's such an honor to be able to translate flavors of food and pass that along to somebody else. It's
And
a
what does that
beautiful.
mean exactly for, like, a guy that's like, I'm not, I love food, and I call myself a foodie, but I'm not. I know there's more to that, but like, so what do you mean by that?
I'm a plant-based chef, right? And so
Right.
I'm into the produce, very, very much what the farm is growing. I write my menus based on local produce. So I think I always feel like it's my job when I say translate, like give the flavors the best possible representation of themselves. Like I feel like that's your job as a
Ah,
chef, right?
got
To
it.
take the ingredient and not change it, not manipulate it into something you don't recognize, but actually like bring out the best natural flavors that are in there. Just accent them the best way possible, right? I mean, it's a
I was
beautiful
just gonna
gift.
say that word, a beautiful thing, right? Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, and it is such a unique skill set because, like you said, you don't want to, enhance it in any way. You want to bring it out naturally in its own fruition, but also the combination of the different flavors and kind of having them complement one another, right? I bet that's somewhat of a challenge. So are you like trying this fresh produce before and then thinking, okay, what can I do with it? Like, what does that process all look like?
I definitely, so I go to the farmers markets. I go to my guys in Seattle every 10 days down to Pike's Place. And um it is first of all, I love my farmers, right? And all the farmers. I love the farmers. And because they come first, right? Those things come first. I can't do what I do without them.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, so I will often just trust them to tell me what the best thing is, but then I have to go and feel it and touch it and smell it. And sometimes I taste it. And then sometimes I have to do a do-over with my menu if they don't have what I was hoping to have and it's not perfect. Right.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I would imagine there's a lot of pivoting, a lot of like, quick decisions because there's a lot of things out of your control,
Yes, exactly, exactly.
a
But
lot of
it's kind of
variables.
keeps you on your toes, right?
Right. And you also have this coined nickname, the Flower Chef. So, um, and that's basically, your farm to table menus that include cannabis. And served some pretty well known people, right? Celebrities. I think they include Jeff Bridges, Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Mhm.
Uh, so how did you transition into the cannabis space? Like, I guess that's a natural pivot being, a plant chef.
Yeah. Well, right. And so, I do feel like it's a very natural pivot, right? And but I've always seen, part of my mission in this space is to teach people to use cannabis as an ingredient, right? Like this is just another beautiful, amazing ingredient in our bounty of ingredients to choose from. So to take that off of the table is awful. I mean, we need to be able to have that to play our game with us. So that and I came into it very much for health reasons, and I'm a breast cancer survivor of 12 years, and
Wow. Congratulations.
yeah,
That's amazing.
thank you, and I feel better than I ever have in my life, and
Great.
cannabis is a big part of the picture for me. It was a big part of my journey, and when I couldn't get where I needed to get with Western medicine, I tried to do something different, and I've always gone to my kitchen when I need to work something out. So
Right.
I went there and I found a way to make something so I could go to sleep. And that was where Ola was born, right? My company's Flower Farma. Ola is our flagship product, and it was born in my kitchen. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me a little more about like that journey, right? I mean, being a breast cancer survivor, and I've heard so many times, I mean, cancer survivor patients, or even outside of that, people with serious ailments, or even just, people with ADHD disorders or OCD disorders, right? And how cannabis has really helped change their life and really improve it for the better, right? Enhance their daily
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
So tell me about, I mean, you mentioned the sleep, but like, how did you first hear about it? I mean, talk to me about the experimentation process. And I mean, had you always have a relationship with cannabis? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I know that was a big gob of information.
No, you're
So,
fine.
um, so, I definitely tried it out in my 20s, right? I was probably a little later than some people. I tried it out in my 20s just recreationally, had some fun. And I think that then I sort of had phase two. And phase two began, in my cancer journey, and finding a way to use it for pain, finding a way to use it for nausea, and all of the things, right? I had remembered, I think we recall the things about it when we first tried it, right? And you go,
Right.
oh, I think that, and doctors, even then, they'd go, well, you could try, no one would tell you, but you can try cannabis,
Right, right. Yeah, if these aren't working for you, I mean, they'll kind of exactly like you said, like if those are just listening, they kind of do the whisper and go, "Hey,
right?
you might want to
Yeah,
try cannabis," you know?
yeah. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not writing it down. I'm not really saying it out loud, but if you want to, you could probably try cannabis, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so you just went in the kitchen, and I mean, did you already kind of have a preconceived understanding of, hey, there's a lot I can do with this oil, this plant, like in terms of food? Or, and if so, has that even expanded and grown even more? Like, has it evolved?
Oh, it's for sure 1,000% evolved. I mean, I feel like, I learn every day, right, about so many things. So I hope it keeps evolving.
Right.
But we're only better for that.
That's
But
right.
I always talk to thank goodness for the bud tenders, right? Like those people, like, oh my goodness,
Yep.
because it is a space you can say anything, right? You can say anything more than you can say to your doctor. In fact, you can say, I just came from my doctor and it was so messed up. And like, can I please talk to you about this?
That's
And
so
they're always
true.
like, oh yeah, I know. So
They're like a lot in one, right? They're like knowledgeable about the plant. So they're like scientists in a way, kind of like doctors in a way.
yes,
They're kind of like therapists in a way. I
all of
mean,
them. I love them. Like, thank God for them. So I learned a lot from them, right? And I would be
right.
like, oh, I went to this dispensary and I got this, and then I learned to do this, and now what do you think I do? And and I finally came upon my partners here in Washington, and they make an amazing distillate. They make the original RSO, like they're amazing. And I found their distillate, their RSO, and I started using that and messing with that, and life got better. I slept.
You slept.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So amazing. And then from there you're like, okay, well, there's no turning back because obviously it's improving my well-being, my daily life, right? And then it's
yeah,
like, hold on, there's also an opportunity here because this is a burgeoning industry, a burgeoning market, right?
right. Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank you.
Yeah.
And I was always, I mean, I was always sure. I mean, I just didn't even, it didn't even feel okay to just keep it for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like, this is so critical for
Right.
people to have. There's no other way about
Right.
it.
Right.
You know?
The accessibility, right? It's like, why is this not more readily available to actual
Yeah.
patients that need it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's sad. The tide is turning, right? We're at 22 states in the country that have gone adult use,
Yeah.
36 states, I believe, that are medicinal. So, I mean, at some point, right, the federal government's going to have to kind of turn its head and go, oh, wait a second. There more than half of the states in this country are now legal. We're going to need to
Yeah.
do something here, right?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
It's a matter of time for sure. Yeah. So tell me about your objectives for Flower Pharma. So I get like your personal experience and how it really helped elevate your life. You see the potential and the benefits for others who, similar your situation, or even just others that could use it to improve their day to day. But are there other objectives? Like I think I've heard you on another podcast say, like we can do better than just gummies, right? Than just taking gummies. Like
Yes.
to,
Not
to
that.
be to be
And
together and kind of communal.
yes. And I do, okay, like, thank you, gummy. I love gummies. I never wanted to hash on gummies. They're great. But I felt like I said at the beginning that I really wanted to teach people to use it as an ingredient. And, I'm a chef because I love to feed people, and I love people together and communing around the chef's table. And it's so beautiful because you can leave your whole life behind just for that hour or 2 hours that you're together over the food,
Right.
and it just becomes this sensory connected experience, right? And when you
Absolutely. Yeah.
put
Ask anyone who
cannabis,
knows me. I love dinners. I love
right?
congregating for a good dinner. Yeah. So I had to segue there, but continue.
No, but it's the best. And so really I thought, really only way to make that maybe a little better is to introduce cannabis to the equation. And it's well, we could spend 5 shows on the why it's so great to celebrate this, but I think as we go forward into this new space where there's lounges and there's dinners and there's this communal space, we need to be resourceful and find new ways to come together and enjoy cannabis, right? So
Right.
that's the mission, behind Flower Pharma, is to let's recreate the dinner party with cannabis. What does that look
Right.
like?
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And one thing that makes me curious, right, is that I mean, and I'm sure I didn't do it correctly in terms of dosage and what, but like, I've gotten the cannabis infused butter. I've cooked with cannabis before, like with eggs and bacon, and like I passed out. Like, I mean, and you watch some shows where like, these celebrities go on with a really high-end chef, doing the same thing, similar things that you're doing with culinary arts and cannabis. And they're also like, at the end, they're just kind of, I mean, is there basically a way to dose this to where it's not too an intensive an experience? I mean, like, and I'm sure that you have to be mindful of that as you're preparing these meals, right?
Mindfulness is just so key, right? Intention, right? And I think that's the deal, just like you said, right? I mean, and if someone, especially if someone's coming to enjoy cannabis for the first, second, third time, I mean, I don't want to give them an uncomfortable experience, and it's not. We want to commune and be together and share this
Right.
space. We don't want to be asleep on our plate. And so, and I think, and so, yes, dosing is everything. I do small doses. I travel and do dinners around the different countries in the United States, everywhere. And it's about small, like 2.5, maybe to 5 milligrams a course, like period.
I
Um,
see. Yeah.
and
See,
then
that
it's
makes
layered.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's over a few hours, and like, we finish with CBD, so everybody's sort of, you know, stabilized at the end. I mean, it
Right.
is extremely intentional. I need it to be, I want it to be, right? I mean, this
Right.
is just, it's about enjoyment. And I also think it's learning. People have to learn their space in this. This is a new thing. And even if, we all know or many of us know what it's like to smoke a joint, right? But like, I mean, it's different when
It's
you're
way different.
consuming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm so
So
glad that you mentioned the CBD part too. For those that may not know this, and you can explain it probably better than I can, I'll kind of tee it up for you. But I mean, the CBD part, right? And stabilizing. It is a
yes.
stabilizer of THC, is
Mhm.
it not?
It is. And I mean, so I think this is the coolest thing. And I do try to share it with, when I'm on the road, Uber drivers, they're always like, "Oh, thank you." Because because I think it's important. We have to tell everyone. If you are too high and you feel too stoned, I mean, it's the great leveler,
The
right?
great equalizer, yeah.
Yes, that was the word. I was looking for that word. But it is, right? And it will work. It will work. And we even
Yep.
will have at dinners, we'll even have CBD cartridges available, and it's nice. Yeah.
See, that's so awesome. And so when
Mhm.
you travel like all around the world doing this stuff, I mean, that's got to be so fun, right? Because every area is different, different climate, different plants that are growing, different ingredients. So you kind of get a blank canvas every time, I would imagine.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's of course, if I'm doing a really high-end dinner, I can't be completely, but I have to do some planning and get, the sourcing and all of this before. But you're right, it is fun because there's so many different things. And I do have some special ingredients I'll usually, fly out or send to my event because I can't be without them. Or I'll source something special from here as I know I can get it. But it is fun. I mean, that's the paint, right? That's all the colors of the art. Like, it's the best.
Right, right. No, absolutely. You can just see the passion coming from you. I mean, I love it. Like truly you're in a space where you're happy and thriving, and that's really what life should be about. So, I'm just so happy to see it. And so
Thank
tell me about the
you.
types. Yeah, of course. Tell me about the different types of products that you offer. And I mean, are there any new product launches in the works in the future?
Yeah, so I have my first flagship product line is Ola, and Ola means is Irish for oil, right? And so we have 4 flavors of that, and they're all hemp seed oil blends. So we really I think it's very important that people start learning and appreciating the value of hemp as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And so hemp seed, right, is the most nutritionally dense superfood on earth, and we're not using it. So it's just needs to start happening. It's a smarter way for agriculture. It's better for the planet. There are so many things.
Yeah,
So the all
let's
hemp
talk
seed oil
about that so
blend.
people really understand that, right? Because I've said several
Yeah.
times that hemp, like it enriches the soil. So I've been
Yes.
told if you ever wanted to grow an organic garden, for instance, grow hemp first, so that you suck out all the the
Mhm.
toxins, the heavy metals, pesticides, but also the plant takes in the most CO2 emissions than any other plant in the botanical kingdom, right? Is that true?
It's crazy. I do believe this is true. I can't like say it for sure, but I do believe this is true. And what you're saying about the soil is
Yeah.
amazing because there's no other plant that does that. And we've been, they've been outlawing it and all the things, like we're just ignoring this thing that can help save our planet, right? So
Right.
it's
It's
incredible. So
it's
that
so
is
incredible. Sorry, keep going. I'm sorry. I'm just sharing the frustration. Like, hello,
yes,
the answer is right here,
exactly. Like, look down, it's right here. Yeah. So they're all hemp seed oil blends, right? And then they feature another. So Savor is a sesame ginger flavor, and so it features toasted sesame oil and fresh ginger, all these other things. Not all these other things. There's only 4 or 5 ingredients. That's why I made them. So you
Oh,
can
wow.
pronounce everything. There's nothing in it. They're oil blends. They're super clean. And that was the deal, right? They're vegan, they're plant-based, they're farm to table, organic, locally sourced in different, all in the best places. So
Right.
we have a THC line here in the state of Washington, and we have a CBD line nationally called Ola Naked.
Okay.
And I'm going to probably confuse some people because we did just switch that up because we also have we will have a plain Ola in the grocery without any cannabis at all. Mhm.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
nice. And I didn't really,
yeah.
okay, so that's cool that you have the CBD line as well, because me being in Texas, I can at least go online and find that,
You
version and try
can.
that out. Yeah.
You can get it. Yeah. And those are all made with CBD and CBG.
Okay.
So they're really nice. I mean, they're kind of feel a little light and happy, and but also you get all your omegas in your diet. You get the benefits, anti-inflammatory benefits of CBD. So they're lovely. They're beautiful. And you had said new launches. We're actually I'm excited to announce we're going to be launching in New York State.
Hey,
This summer.
congratulations and good
Thank you.
timing.
Yes, right. Yeah. So our partner here in Washington State is Skagit Organics, and they're amazing. I told you a little bit about those guys. And my partner in New York City is Jenny's. She was Jenny's Baked at Home, and now Jenny Loves
Oh
Me.
yeah, I've had Jenny
Yeah,
on the podcast. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's great.
yeah. She's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Very
yeah. So
nice. So you guys are
we're
gonna be a
super
double
excited.
threat.
Yes, right. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. I'm excited. I'm super excited. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you have obviously have a lot to be excited about, a lot of good things in the works, and a solid product already that's available. So, outside of that, Julie, what makes you optimistic about the future of the cannabis industry? What are you excited about? And yeah, what do you look forward to in the future?
I think there's a lot to be optimistic about in the cannabis industry. One, something that's very compelling for me about it is I really, and it makes me super excited, is the people, right, in the community behind the industry. And there are so many innate challenges, right? There are so many challenges that I think are we're very united by our passion for the plant,
Right.
right? Because
There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
right, and in no other space would you deal with all the stuff we deal with,
Sure. I mean,
you know?
yeah, of course. I mean, 280E, like, the
Yes,
difficulties with baking,
exactly.
transactions, I
Yes,
mean, holding cash at the dispensary.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
Regulations, just everything, right?
right.
And it doesn't maybe always seem very reasonable, and it's because it's a new space, and we're all figuring it out. But I think, I answered that like I wasn't saying these are the bad things. I'm excited because we are all so passionate that it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. Like, and it's a game. I mean, part of it is the game of it, and you really never know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next, and it's like could be just a completely different scenario.
Right.
And I mean, I come from hospitality, right? I have a chef background, always hopping anyway. So I think it's very a lot of people have come over to cannabis from the hospitality space. They like 30% of the hospitality people left to come over here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. I didn't realize
yeah.
the number was that big.
It's
That's
big. Yeah,
significant. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it feels similar in that kind of energy, but I am so taken with and just in love with the energy people have, and failure is not an option. Like we just, it's not.
Right. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's the passion, right? I mean, you're passionate about what you do, but you're also seeing this passion from these operators that, I mean, in my opinion, are some of the best problem solvers of any industry, right?
yeah,
Because like you
Yes.
said, every day is a challenge, and that's part of the game. I like how you put it that way. It's a game in most cases, because you're trying to figure out how to navigate and get around certain regulations that may not make
Yeah.
sense, but it's got to,
Mhm.
it's got to be compliant, and you got to be doing the right things. So it's a difficult balancing act for sure.
It
But
is.
I could not agree with you more that cannabis operators or anybody involved in cannabis is resilient, right? Because you have to
Yes.
be.
Very much so. And I do think that, I mean, it's, if you realize, I think in cannabis or really anywhere in life, if you if we can kind of all understand that we're all in this together and we're all part of the bigger picture, so much more comfortable, right? Like, oh,
Right.
it's so much better. Right?
It's a better environment. And that brings up another great point, and that is the opportunity that cannabis presents in terms of doing things differently than other industries have, right? Like,
Yes.
the tech space, right? Corporate America in tech, or the oil industry, or whatever it is, these legacy industries, like they have certain cultures, they have certain ways of operating, they have certain ways of treating and talking to each other. And if we can kind of break those barriers and kind of define our own path, that would be the ultimate win.
Right. But isn't that what we're doing, right? I mean, that is what we're doing. We're
Absolutely.
creating
Yeah,
together this new culture, right? Like it's so exciting.
it's so exciting. I just hope that it doesn't change due to money, right? Which money
I
changes a
know.
lot of things.
Mhm.
Um, so I just hope we keep that, because ultimately at the end of the day, the plant is what really brings us together, and it opens us up and it makes us think differently. And so we need to kind of keep that, because that's the essence of what we're doing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Keep thinking differently, I think, is the key, right? I mean, and I think we can all be guilty of getting caught up in the mundane and all in the tasks and all the things. But when you come together and realize it's we are thinking about things differently, then it's empowering, right?
it's a
Pretty
special
cool.
place to be. It's a great place to
Yes.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Julie,
Very
it's been,
grateful. Very
yeah.
grateful.
Hey, I'm with you. It's been really great talking with you. I want to give you the floor before we wrap up. Is there anything that is as top of mind for you that you may want to leave the audience with before we go?
Well, I'm definitely, you can keep up with me on my travels. I'm in the middle of a tour, cooking in several different cities. We'll be in LA, or actually Orange County, sorry, in a few weeks here. And of course, New York this summer. So can check out where we're at theflowerchef.co or flowerpharma.com. I'm sure you'll have those, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, good luck. I'm sure you obviously don't need it, but enjoy your tour, and keep it up. It's amazing what you're doing, and like you said, ultimately it's so rewarding because you're bringing people together with this amazing plant that naturally does that as well. So it's a
It
win-win.
is. It is. Kevin, it was so fun talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much. Again, the pleasure is all mine, and I want to thank everyone for listening. Bye.
Bye.